After the inner pocket is sewn, it is time to attach the inner pocket to the lining of the tote bag. Find the inner pocket and the bag lining. First, press the seam allowance of the inner pocket towards the wrong side using the thread tracing as a guide. The crease should follow the thread tracing all the way from one side to the other. Next, place a pin through the notch at the center of the base of the pocket. Turn the pocket over and place a second pin in the same spot so that you can see the center mark from the right side. Remove the other pin. Press out any creases or wrinkles from the bag lining. Thread trace by hand with a single thread the inner pocket placement lines on the bag lining. Use a tailor's tack on each side of each corner to help define the corners and to mark the center of the base. Use the pin in the base of the inner pocket and the tailor's tack to match up the pocket with the lining. The folded edge of the pocket should line up with the guideline you thread traced on the inner pocket. Pin in place. Next, use the corner tailor tacks to line up the top corners of the inner pocket and pin in place. After the middle and corners of the inner pocket are set, line up the rest of the folded edge with the line and pin in place. The bag lining should remain flat. You may find that you need to adjust and repin to get the inner pocket to lay just right. Use lots of pins placed both vertically and horizontally to ensure that the pocket stays where it should while you sew. Check the back of the bag lining to be sure that it is lying flat with no folds or creases. Now use the sewing machine to top stitch 1/8 of an inch from the folded edge of the inner pocket. The sewing machine should be set to a stitch width of 0 and a stitch length of 3. Line up the folded edge with the inner edge of the presser foot. Put the foot down Hold the threads, stitch 2 to 3 stitches forward, backstitch 2 to 3 stitches, and continue to stitch all the way down the sides, along the bottom, and up the other side of the inner pocket. Stitch to the top edge of the pocket. Backstitch 2 to 3 stitches, then stitch forward to the edge. Make sure the needle is up, lift the foot, pull the work out, and cut your thread. Check along the front and back of your stitching to be sure that everything is aligned correctly and there are no folds or creases. Next, reinforce the top corners with a bar tack. To do this, mark a line 1/4 inch inside the side of the pocket that measures 3/8 of an inch starting at the top edge. Repeat this on the other side. Use the sewing machine with a stitch width of 3 and a stitch length of 1.5 to sew a tight zigzag along the line you drew. Stitch from the top edge to the bottom of the line, backstitch to the top, and go forward again 5 to 6 stitches to complete the bar tack. Repeat on the other side. Now the bag lining is ready to assemble.